Welcome to the Investing Podcast presented by Tusk Media. This is Outsider Trading, an audio and video deep dive into the people, places, and things that we find most interesting in the market.
Hi, welcome back to the Investing Podcast. I'm Ben Nye here with Matt Krebsbach. How are you doing, Matt?
Not bad.
How's the facial? How are you going?
Nice. I think it's coming in strong.
I feel like, yeah. This morning I did a very close shave and it's thick. I mean, by the end of this week, not even a month, I'm gonna have the full Scotty style beard. Scotty up today, not yesterday. So we are doing a Mo Shave Movember promotion. It is all the funds raised go directly to the organization. They're all directly to men's health and those issues. So right now, I'm at $50. I've raised. You're at zero. I think we have Andrew at 25, and he also contributed 25 to Garrett. So
supposedly,
yeah, that's the word on the street. Speaking of street, we were at the Invest for Kids conference last week in Chicago. Good times. We also heard some great ideas from Pentwater Capital, hedge fund from Chicago, right?
Right, yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about one of the stocks he pitched?
Yeah, the guy who pitched it, his name was Matt Halbauer. He has a good name. I'm going to throw that out there. I like his first name. But I think we all agreed that he probably had like the best pitch. Wouldn't you say?
I agree, yeah. Both pitches. I think he really came in with what he wanted to do. He knew he was going to pitch risky companies, but he wasn't shy about saying these are risky, but he does think there's a large potential for potentially asymmetric returns from them.
But we came out of that pretty excited about this one, TRQ. It's technically called Turquoise Hill Resources, and it's one mine in Mongolia. So right there, you're kind of like, whoa, that's a little out there. But it's a copper and gold mine. It's been in operation for a few years now, but the real kicker there is that in about 5 years or so, I think, roughly speaking, they plan on increasing output by 80% by constructing an underground mining plan. Yeah,
so what happens oftentimes when you build a mine, you do an open pit if you don't really have the budget to do an underground mine where you have a lot more infrastructure involved. It's just a lot more capital intensive on the beginning. A lot of times open pits are more attractive because you can just haul directly from the open pit onto your pads, and then I don't know the process about actually extracting it. I'm not sure if they use a leach operation or what, but it's in order to get the gold out. But it's just it's an easier way of mining. Oftentimes though, if you go underground, you can get higher grades because a lot of the metals sink, especially. So I would expect higher grade percentage of gold underground than on the open pit.
But again, kind of leeching up what you're saying there, it costs a lot more to get that going. Because you have to build a lot more, get holes down there, I don't know.
Right.
I'm not a miner, so I don't know exactly, but just thinking.
Especially in the middle of the Gobi Desert in Mongolia.
Right, it's literally in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
I think you said it's 500 kilometers from the nearest city.
Yeah,
The
so
nearest big city.
Yeah, so I have some stats on that. Ulaanbaatar is the largest city in Mongolia, but it's 12 and a half hours away. The nearest city...
by car, I'm assuming.
By car. The nearest city is just a population of 7,000 people. And this is a mine, just to bear in mind the context. They want to build 200 kilometers of tunnels underneath the existing open pit and into the underground mine.
To think about that's crazy.
That's incredible scale of mining. So what were your thoughts kind of as you processed the pitch?
Before you get into that, kind of another big positive to this was Rio owns, I think,
was it 51?
I was going to say 49, but let's say 51% of it. And one of the aspects of the pitch was the CEO of Rio in conference calls made it sound like they're interested in buying it out since it's such a high grade mine.
Right.
I think when we came back, we saw comments to the contrary. I don't know if those are sooner or what the time frame was there. but I think we kind of ruled that out as kind of like a catalyst for it,
Right.
or one of our.
So the pitch, the idea was that the stock would double to $6
Right.
a share, because Rio would want to buy them out.
Mhm.
The problem with that is, Rio right now has a pretty nice situation because it has a large stake, but then they don't really, if Turquoise needs to raise capital, they can do that separately. They don't need to have a capital call against Rio in order to raise that money. So it's just going to be a huge operation.
And one other thing, the Mongolian government owns like 30% of this mine.
Right.
Just on that.
So some concerns actually with the operation of the mine. So it's in the desert. Whenever you have a mining operation, one of the underappreciated things is that you need a lot of water.
Mhm.
So if it's in the
definitely.
desert,
Yeah.
I mean, how are they going to get the water there to actually mine it? So that's a big concern. And then it's been around forever. It's been around.
Yeah,
like,
that's your big concern.
Right. I mean, the fact that there's a lot of copper and gold in this location is not new. I mean, they were doing this back in the Mongolia dynasty, like hundreds and hundreds, centuries and centuries ago. And so right now, after the commodity boom in China, now all of a sudden it's attractive to actually go and build an underground mine there. Kind of raises question marks.
One other thing that he liked was the book value of the mine. I think was one of his main things.
Yeah.
I think he put the book value around like $6.
Right.
So he was assuming or hoping he got back to like fair value,
Yeah.
which is another thing just to throw out there.
Right.
I don't know
Whereas,
if we bought into that.
yeah, because a lot of times, because book value in an operation like this is dependent on how
What
much
you can get out
money's
of it.
been put into it.
Yeah.
So, if you spent a lot of money building a Legos to the moon, I mean, that's going to have a high book value, but it's not really worth much in terms of cash it generates.
And one other thing too is like for that underground project to play out, that'll take, I think I looked at it was like 5 years,
Right.
like minimum for you to realize cash flow from that mine, assuming everything goes to plan, assuming it comes out on time, which projects like that rarely come out on time.
Right.
I mean, just like from experiences, I feel like it's never like it comes
Yeah.
out as planned.
And then if you have to, obviously in Mongolia, if this actually works, how much are investors actually going to get and how much is the government going to get? Because we've seen in South Africa and South American countries when mining companies do well, government just ends up taking it and investors don't come away with much. So I actually think there are two interesting corollaries. Neither of them are particularly appealing. The first one is Gabriel Resources. This was a Romanian gold mine proposed. But there was really, and they promised this huge promise of future production, and it was going to be one of the biggest mines in Europe, extremely high grades. And then Paulson was invested quite a lot into it. Baupost actually had a large stake in it. So very big names, and ended up being, he went there and then there was just no chance it would ever happen because of the political climate and because, Gabriel never really had to prove there was any gold actually there. They just raised money on the promise of it and then blamed it not going through on the regulatory authorities. And then another corollary to that is Nova Gold. It's a more positive corollary. Big investors, Tom Kaplan's in it, Mark Faber owns big stake in so Nova Gold's a company, its primary asset is 50% stake in Donlin Gold in Alaska. It's, again, huge open pit mine, about $7 billion capital cost to build. So it's supposed to be extremely high grade, safe jurisdiction. Barrick owns the other half of it. Barrick is waiting to see where gold prices go, to see what the updated numbers are before they want to go and acquire it. Right now, they said, quote, it's a call option for us. It's an interesting asset, it's a great asset, but we're not doing anything with it right now. My guess would be that's the approach Rio takes as well.
Right. I was going to say they're probably doing the exact same thing, saying, well, it's a call option.
Right. And Rio is not in the best state right now anyway itself. So I'm not sure where they want to go and buy this asset when there are really no other suitors for it. And if it was really attractive, then they could just go in and their stake would be higher already. So it just doesn't seem to me that they would have the motivation to rush in and buy it at this point in time.
I agree.
Any other thoughts on TRQ?
No, I think we hit all of my points on it.
Awesome. Well, as a recap of one of the ideas from Chicago, you can take a look at it, a pretty interesting company. We'll be back with more from Tusk Media. Thanks for watching.
Tusk Media is a subsidiary of Narwhal Capital Management. Ratings and reviews of Tusk Media content are not to be construed as endorsements of opinions, analysis, or services offered by Tusk or its parent company. The opinions and predictions shared here are our professional beliefs at the time of publication. We are not under duress from any of the corporate entities mentioned. This is not a solicitation to take any particular action. Although we are investment advisors, this information should not be considered investment, legal, or tax advice. We strive to be as impartial, insightful, and accurate as possible. We base our opinions, analysis, and calculations on information we believe to be reliable, but we cannot guarantee its accuracy. We can, however, guarantee that our opinions will sometimes be flat out wrong due to a variety of factors. Employees and clients of Narwhal Capital Management may or may not hold positions in the securities detailed and may or may not hold these positions in the future. A full list of all securities purchased, sold, or held during the 12 months preceding the date of this publication can be provided upon request. Unless otherwise noted, all data accessed via MarketWatch or the Bloomberg terminal. Past performance does not guarantee future results. A copy of Narwhal's Form ADV is available at the SEC's website, www.advisorinfo.sec.gov, or from Narwhal upon written request.